Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my analysis of some of the most popular futures markets out there that traders care about. And this will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. One quick clarification, I'll be looking at the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours. And I want to do the 4-hour time frame so we can have more of a broad, overarching look as we move over the weekend into the next session to keep an eye on where some of these key, again, overall levels reside. So the first key level, and if you've been watching my other analysis videos, then this is no surprise, but you've been hearing me talk about that red line up there as resistance at the 83.75 mark. And once again today, the price worked its way up to the level and just could not break through it. So as of right now, that is very much so a well-documented area of resistance. And I make that comment about being well-documented because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, no guarantees, but if you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, there can be some very dynamic movement. So if any point next week the price is able to work its way up here and then get the break up through that level, again, no guarantees, but a break of that level could very well create upwards buying pressure, bunch of stop losses you got to think are probably up there from shorts. So, definitely a very, very critical level and an interesting level. In terms of near-term levels, right now, that level right there at the 850 mark has done a very, very impressive job. Going back here, you can see, generally speaking, support right there, several candles in a row. And then even on this big 4-hour drop right here, once again, the price not only stopped at that level, but you can see right here, green candle started to bounce. So that's going to be another key area, 850 here on the end. Oh, I didn't even say what I was doing. I'm looking at the NQ. Hopefully people looked up here. But yes, the first one we're looking at is the NQ. Can you tell it's Friday? But if you're wondering this whole time, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Up here, NQ. Sorry about that. But anyways, these are going to be the two initial levels right here. Then you also have these moving averages. You have the pink line. You have the purple line there. So the pink line being the 200 period moving average, purple line being the 50 period moving average. And you can see their values right over here if you're interested in those. But like I said, main dynamic right now is, yes, everything is in an overall uptrend. Yes, the price is now struggling at that level. So the question I think on most people's minds next week is, can the price recover up to that area and then get the break up through there? We'll see what happens on NQ. Next one here, I'm not going to forget to let you know we are now taking a look at the ES. And on this one today, pretty I don't know, kind of just what it's been doing. Pretty standard, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Just making its moves, coming back down, up, coming back down. Although I'm going to get a little spicy here, and I am going to call for a bigger pullback next week, and that is going to be based on the pattern here that I'm seeing. So we'll see. Maybe this is going to kick me in my face and say, get out of here. But we have that area of resistance. And then we have, whoops, did not mean to draw it right there. There we go. We have this area of support. And this would be, I'll call it a poor man's rising wedge. Maybe not the most in-your-face one, but this is one that's suggesting that I think there's going to be more of a pullback to come. Now, how much of a pullback? I think realistically the price could come down here, retest these areas down here, specifically the 60.37 mark, which you can see right there. But again, a pullback is not the same as a crash, so it's not like I'm calling for a market crash or anything like that. But like I said, I can see, due to this technical pattern here, like I said, I'll call it the poor man's rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. The price potentially coming down to here. But if it wants to try to prove me wrong, then that's going to be the main area of resistance right there, that upward trend line. So if the price bounces, comes up there, and explodes up through there, then yeah, I will be back to just say, oh, that one served me some humble pie there. Not that I don't think I'm being arrogant about it right now, but regardless, that would be the main dynamic there. Is I think there's going to be more of a pullback, and I could see a pullback coming to that pink line right there. So we'll see what next week brings for the ES. Next one here, taking a look at the YM, and the Dow Jones has really, really been very impressive. Had some of it of a pullback here, but within the grand scheme of things, everything is still perfectly fine. And the first key update that needs to be made is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And with the break of that 413 level right there, you can see actually there was a bit of a pullback, and right there, classic example there of that resistance acting as support. And now the price is pulling back some more. So we basically have a little bit of a miniature bull flag pattern that has formed here. But I'm curious, does this pull back enough to get down to 413? And if so, will that level be able to hold? And then just from more of the bigger picture standpoint, you have the purple line now crossing up through the pink line. So, some would call that the golden cross. So that's never anything that's bad necessarily, assuming you're bullish, that is. So keep an eye on that overall moving average. And then in terms of areas of resistance, no need to overcomplicate this. You have quite the flat top area of resistance right up there at the 786 mark. So maybe not 786 to the exact spot, but definitely right around that area. And you can see the price has been struggling up at that area. But all in all, like I said, really find it hard, hard to find anything to complain about as this thing just remains in a very nice uptrend. Next one here, we're taking a look at crude oil, CL, and the downtrend continues. And I think the easiest way to just continue to monitor this one going forward is just to get this trend line in play, because there have been lots of bounces along the way, but every bounce, none of them have been able to create, to get up through that line there. So, I don't want to be negative, but if the price bounces, I would be super skeptical and I would not trust the bounce. In fact, I would classify it as a dead cat bounce unless it can prove itself innocent. How could the price prove itself innocent? By getting above and staying above that line right there. Like I said, a lot of bounces, failed. Even right there, somewhat failing right there. So again, I'm not saying you can't make money from bounces. I'm just saying don't get overconfident. Say, oh, this thing's bouncing. This is it. This is the the sign of strength. It could be, but I would not trust it until the price can bare minimum get above that resistance line right there. And then in terms of areas of support, talked about this previously, but we have a couple of key levels down here. We have that 72.80 mark, which is from a support way back here. In fact, you can't see it. It's behind my ugly mug. And I'll just show it to you just in case for the skeptics out there. There we go. So right there is the one I was talking about. And then we also have the pink line right there, the 200 period moving average. So moving into next week, these lines are basically going to be essentially at the same level because that's going to move itself. Its name, moving average to be right around that area. So if this does continue, could you get a bounce off the 72.80 mark? I could see that being a very plausible scenario. So that's actually an interesting level next week if the price does roll back over and continue on with the downtrend. But yeah, as of right now, the bears are in control. Next one here, take a look in the precious metal market and in specific gold, GC, and overall very, very nice movements. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level from past analysis. This trend line here, honestly, I thought it'd put up a little bit more of a fight, and it didn't. In fact, on that 4-hour candle right there, you can see it went up there and just brutalized that level. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that now. And our first update comes about based on that rule, which I've stated when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward now, the 774 mark going to be that key level. We're so far so good. You can see the price has come down there a couple times and held strong every single time. With that being said, if the price falls below that area, that doesn't mean the chart's destroyed or anything like that, because you still do have that purple line there, 50 period moving average. And as long as the price stays above that purple line as the line itself moves higher and higher, then overall the bulls are still in full health, full control of the current movement. And then in terms of areas of resistance, I want to say today might have been all-time highs, but no need to overcomplicate this. Just ask the question, where did the party finally stop today? And the party stopped right up there around the 795 mark. So for that reason, I'm going to call 795 the key area of resistance. Again, no need to overcomplicate this. You can sometimes basic logic is the best logic to use. But as a whole, just to build more context, gold has been doing very, very well, almost doing the exact opposite of oil. And we'll see if this correlation continues into next week. But yeah, keep an eye on these levels next week for gold. So that wraps up the analysis. And before you go, though, I do want to personally invite you, because if you're still watching right now, I assume you like what you saw. I assume you like charts. And therefore, I'd like to invite you to get signed up for my free, or it's not free, my private community here. And it's something where with that price tag, it's amazing how it can filter out the trolls and the people that are trying to start drama and the riffraff. So $99 not per month, it's per 3 months. So if you break down the math, it's $8.25 per week. And as I always say, I'm very confident you'll get at least $8.25 per week in value by joining. So if you are looking for other futures traders, people, really quality futures traders, then you can keep an eye on this, and that will, like I said, claytrader.com/team will give you access. So if you have any questions or anything like that, leave that down below. But overall, like I said, if you're looking for a good quality group of traders, definitely consider that. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back next week.